co-host Mark Kelly, and we are now going live on the Austin Lucas Hour in Fort Worth, Texas. We are on the World Wide Web, and we appreciate you tuning in with us today. This is a weekly show, and Mark and I just talk about a little bit of everything. And today we're going to have with us Mrs. Attaway, and she's with the Fort Worth Housing Department, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, before we get to Ms. Attaway, I want to just say good morning to you, Mark.
Good morning, Jim. How are you? And we're in sort of microphone challenge today, but the next show will be technically up and running. And how have you been, Jim?
I've been phenomenal, man. You know, I'm so excited. I get so excited when I get headed to the office and I know we're going to be doing our show. This is our fifth show, and we're just trying to cover the world as far as issues and things that are going on. We're just coming off the grand opening of the Austin Event Center that just took place last week. Last week we had the ribbon cutting. We had our city councilwoman, Kelly Allen Gray, was there, and a lot of dignitaries, and we cut the ribbon to celebrate a new venue that's in South Fort Worth. It's the Austin Event Center, 1111 Eastbury, and you can go to the website Austin Event Center to see the pictures and all, and that was Thursday. And then Friday night, we were so lucky, one of the bands that was going down to Austin for the South by Southwest Music Festival stopped by on Friday night. They were Zydeco, Andre McQuarrie out of California, and one of the bad Zydeco bands. We had about 100 people there partnering with KNON. And then Saturday night was the big event, was our Life of Dreams jazz concert with Tom Braxton and Larry Bragg from Tower of Power and Emerald Khan. So we had a good weekend, very excited. If you need a place to book for an event, please go online and go to Austin Event Center. So yeah, it was a good weekend.
Excellent. Only in Fort Worth could you get a funeral director. That would be me, with Lucas Funeral Home and Williams and Lucas Funeral Home on Sylvania, and a commercial real estate online cat trying to pull off a show. But because of that, those varied interests, we can hopefully bring you some titillating and interesting information and useful information. And saying that, sitting to my left, very quietly and being so polite and nice, but we are going to let her talk, is Miss Terry Attaway, who has 30 years of residential real estate and finance under her belt, just to name a few things. Ms. Attaway is also the board chairman for the Fort Worth Housing Authority. She's been a member of that authority for 15 years. She's been a chair for the past 3 years. So we look forward to learning from her here as the show progresses on about her experience and what is the state of housing in the city of Fort Worth. Welcome, Ms. Attaway.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lucas and Jim, for having me here this morning. Always a great opportunity to talk about real estate. Right now, what's interesting is I do a lot of different things for people that are out in the community who are purchasing homes right now. And also my volunteer efforts are through the Housing Authority and through another real estate organization called National Association of Real Estate Brokers, where we focus on democracy and housing. What's happening now is this is a hot market right now. It's definitely a seller's market. If you're looking to purchase your first home, interest rates have never been lower. We get threatened that they may start to go up, so the time is now if you're looking for that. And then what I specialize in is helping folk to find assistance monies that they need to help them with down payments, and really educating people on credit and just what it takes to become a homeowner. Now, just to the question you asked me is what's happening in housing, and when I think about the Fort Worth Housing Authority, we are definitely the premier owners of housing, I think, in Fort Worth when it comes to rental homes and apartments and so forth where people are still renting, because not everybody is ready to buy a house right now. So the Fort Worth Housing Authority really prides itself on being great landlords in the city, which I don't know if people really know that or not. But there are many people that we hope to give a hand up, so you're renting for a while, but we don't want that to be somebody's lot in life, whether it be public housing or whether it be affordable housing. We do mixed income housing for folk, because the goal is those people who need the help, yes they do, but we want to have those folk mixed in with the general population throughout the city of Fort Worth. So Fort Worth Housing Authority has been known throughout the country for changing the face of public housing. We're real proud of that. Many apartment complexes that we own, you would pass by and you would never know the difference. And that's what we want. That's what HUD wants, and that is our goal. Currently, one of the big things we're doing, two really big things. One is we're working with the city of Fort Worth and our local council persons, Gina Bivens, and then there's even some things hopefully coming down the pipe in Kelly Allen Gray's area, where we're looking at transformation of housing as you see it today. You may be familiar or maybe not with the Calvo neighborhood, which is off of Rosedale Street, that has been a general public housing site for a long, long time. We only have a couple of those left, actually. And so that one has been approved through City Council. I want to say it's a $400 million plan that is going to take some time. It'll probably take about 10 years or so to come to fruition, but it will be a master plan community that we're really excited about. So, and if anybody needs more information about that, you can go to the Fort Worth Housing Authority website to find out more. So that's a long answer, right?
No, that's a wonderful answer. Again, folks, you're listening to the Austin Lucas Hour here on jimaustin.com, and we're speaking with Terry Attaway, who's the board chairman of the Fort Worth Housing Authority, if you're just tuning in. I am so, I guess, excited would be, I'll just use that term, to hear, because what I've just heard you tell me is that you are really making happen the extenuation of what Eleanor Roosevelt dreamed of back in the 1930s. She tried to speak then that everybody should have a right to a house, a decent place to live, and that it shouldn't be just, I guess, stuck. I'm not slamming capitalism here. I'm all about free enterprise, and Jim's the epitome of an entrepreneur in the free enterprise system. However, in that system, you have people that do real well, and you have people that don't do well. And for the field to be leveled, for a level playing field, I think there needs to be some help. So it sounds like the Fort Worth Housing Authority is, I guess, the umpire and the visionary, I guess, to make that happen. Would that be accurate?
Sure.
Or Jim?
Yeah, the Fort Worth Housing's been around quite a long time. And sometimes people get the wrong idea when you say housing, and you think about various things in the mind. But, what you're talking about today, the apartment complexes, the living is middle class and upward bound. That the security and the lighting and the things, nice homes.
Definitely.
So it's a whole different attitude, thought pattern that Fort Worth Housing's doing, and the partnerships that you guys are doing. And I had the pleasure to meet your new executive director, Naomi Burns.
Yes, correct.
And Naomi and I broke bread about a month ago, and phenomenal young lady that's here in town, just a new executive director. And of course, my friend Barbara Halston was there for many, many years, and she's retired and enjoying her retirement. So I just hats off, and I'm so glad that you could come in and talk with Mark and I about all the things that you're doing.
Definitely. Terry, could you speak to, you mentioned, can you share with us a little bit about how Fort Worth has led the way to changing the face? And what I took from that is no more projects, but, a true, regular, nice housing. Get rid of that stigma. Could you speak to that?
I can a little bit. And you know what? Ultimately, that is our goal. We have, just for you to know, when I started on the board, we owned 3 assets. How about now we own 23? I think
Wow.
about to close on 2 more, so about 25 um, apartment complexes that we bought throughout the city. And as I say, you would never know. We would have to tell you where they are for you to know the difference because you just don't know. Our residents get the options to choose where they want to stay. We're always looking for places that are close to transportation, to jobs, that kind of thing. And so, yes, that is our goal, my goal, I should say, as chair, is to ultimately phase out the need for help from HUD. Now, I should be careful when I say that because I don't know who all's listening. But truthfully, our subsidies have gone down, 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 and they continue to go down. So, as a housing authority, we had to be more entrepreneurial, which is what we do. You mentioned our great new president, and of course, you know what, this started under Barbara Holston's watch, no doubt. She was a champion for housing, and so I learned so much from her. Appreciate all the work she's done, and now I think we've done a good job in bringing Naomi Byrne on. However, I should also mention a little bit of our staff. Brian Dennison, who is our director of our business development director, and we have others in our senior VPs that really take the bull by the horns, and they help us to find projects that fit our vision. We just got through doing a new strategic plan, and to go forward even more so than we did. We started this too, and I should even mention the chairman before me, Alex Jimenez, which you may know him. He really had a lot of vision. I was vice chair under him for a long time, so it was easy to take the reins. We work with such a good staff of people, so you're going to see some great things continue to happen. I'm so proud of what we do in the city of Fort Worth. And then also, one other program that we do, a lot of programs, by the way, but another is that we have a housing program for our residents who want to buy their own properties. We celebrate every year people who are doing great things. They're getting degrees, they're starting their own businesses, and they're buying homes. So there's a lot of things that we do to help people, move up and out. And so that makes room for other people who need our services until, at that time that they're able to do the same thing. So that's real important. And for me, it all makes sense because I do the same kinds of things in the private sector for my own business. So, it just makes sense that I stay around and help with the housing authority and give my services there because it's really, really important what we do.
Can you give us a website if you wanted to get some more information about the Housing Authority in Fort Worth?
Sure. The website for the Housing Authority is FTWHA.org. So it stands for Fort Worth Housing Authority. If you get that wrong, Google it. You will find it very easily.
FWHA.org.
FTWHA.org.
FTWHA.org.
Yes.
Folks, you're listening to the Austin Lucas Hour on JimAustinLive.com.
JimAustinOnline.com. Yes.
Well, yeah, that's why Jim won't give me a raise.
Right.
JimAustinOnline.com.
And tell them about it. Also, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter, Jim Austin 6 or Jim Austin Online. Please visit us. Send us an email. Let us know that you're listening. This is the World Wide Web. So my son, who's playing volleyball, I got to do a shout out to Chris Austin. Chris was on the national championship NCAA basketball, University of California, Irvine. Well, this brother lives basketball. volleyball. So he went over to Finland, and he played volleyball in Finland. Now he's in Greece playing volleyball as a professional. So Chris, I want to give a shout out to you because he's been reaching out to me saying, Dad, follow me on Twitter. So check his website out, chrisaustin.com, and the young kid's writing a book, but he's a coach and he lives by that sport. So I'm real proud of him. And when he was in the 10th grade, he called me, he said, Dad, I'm going to stop playing basketball. I'm changing sports to volleyball. And he's a setter. And he's like Magic Johnson. He has eyes in the back of his head. And when he plays, it's like he's looking at you, but the ball's going back that way. So, son, I just want to give you a shout out in Greece. And I know you're having a good time. And looking forward to seeing you in May. He's coming in. We're going to do a little reception for Chris Austin.
Wow.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so I'll do a shout out for him. But yeah, follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Join me on LinkedIn, Jim Austin, on Jim Austin Online. But Mark, I am so happy to have you. And Terry, it is good having you here. We're just having fun. That's all we're doing. We're on the World Wide Web, and people from all over the world can come in. And if you have a subject you'd like for us to talk about or someone to interview, just please let us know. Mark, I'm going to turn the show back over to you.
That's fine, folks, and if you've tuned in or just tuned in, we're talking with Terry Attaway. Terry is the board chairman of the Fort Worth Housing Authority. She has decades of experience in real estate and finance, and she's also the escrow officer at Texas Secure Title Company. She's a real estate broker with American Dream Company. She's also a board member of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers and the local chapter of the Fort Worth Association of Realtists. I think that's fascinating that in 15 years, the Fort Worth Housing Authority has gone from 3 properties to 23, I believe you said.
25, I think.
25 properties.
Yes.
So maybe you could educate the listeners a little bit about if they, a lot of how things are successful is just trying, that's what we're doing here, is trying to reach out and let people know how to get connected to a resource. Many times they don't even know that something exists, unless they hear it at the coffee shop or may see it in an article. I find out things like that all the time. So maybe you could speak to, if people are out there listening, what kind of help you do provide to, if they need help to get into the different complexes y'all have, and then for those people that transition out of that into owning their own home.
For one thing, if you're looking for a place to lease, go to Fort Worth Housing Authority's website, ftwha.org. You will find the list of all the properties that we owned, and you actually apply at the individual properties is how that works. If you're a person that is in need of places and maybe you have a housing choice voucher, you can go to our department there. Again, go online. We have, you can make an appointment to talk with someone there. But I should also say that, what we really need is landlords. So those of you who own property and in this day and time need people to rent, we have meetings once a month for landlord orientation. So we would love to see you do that. Do you know, as much as we do, there are nearly 20,000 people in Fort Worth that need a place to stay. That's how many people were on the list when we opened up our waiting list for people. So I know it's come down some, but that was it at its highest. So we are still in need across this city for affordable housing. So if you can help with that, please do that. Now, our clients that are in our programs, we have a family self-sufficiency program, and that actually matches funds from HUD to help them with down payments and so forth like that. So we are always actually administering that program, offering it to people who live in our in any of our locations, they have the opportunity to do that. So and you know, it's not easy. Usually people are through that process. It may sometimes take a year or longer, depending on credit and income and all of those things. We have banks that work with us that help us with these programs as well, but there are a lot of people taking advantage of this. And for real estate professionals, guys, you may not have known this, but you can also sign up to work with clients from the Fort Worth Housing Authority. We have many people who do that. You mentioned the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, Realtist. That group really specializes in understanding these kind of programs and coming to the Housing Authority, being trained, being able to get on their realtor list so that they can service these clients, because they still need people who are going to actually find the homes for them and show them the houses. So those are kind of, I hope that answered your question on some of the things that we do and how you get involved. We don't only need the clients to come, but we need the professionals to help them in any of those aspects of getting into a property, whether it's a rental property or to buy and own a property.
So how did can you speak a little bit to how the history of the Housing Authority got started? I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm fascinated by this. That I hear that there's 10,000 people a month moving into the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like the need's just going to increase as
Right.
people. There's a mad dash. Now I hear real estate people say that their problem is they can't find homes to sell, and so the rental market's gone through the roof. Believe me, I'm a renter. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I'm paying the same rent here that I'm paying more here than I paid when I lived in Seattle. So that's
Wow.
how much Fort Worth has changed since I've come back in the last 2 years. So it makes me believe there's a lot of people out there suffering, trying to find something that's, even livable
Mm-hmm.
at a decent rate. So I'm just interested, how did it start and how is it funded? Is it funded by the city and our tax dollars with, I think you said you're getting help from HUD, but that level just decreasing over time?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mentioned that we have to start to become entrepreneurial, so we partner with lots of different people. We use tax credits, for instance, to help us when we're buying properties. We do partner some with the city of Fort Worth, of course, but we have many, many stakeholders that help us accomplish the goals that we do. It definitely takes a village, right,
Mm-hmm.
to do all of this. And when, as far as the clients that come to us, again, we train many people, the real estate professionals and so forth, to help people to come to us. Now, you talked about people moving in. Yes, people can actually transport their vouchers if they have them from a different area to this one. Doesn't guarantee you a place, but again, it adds to the list of people who are looking. We try to help as many of them as we can, and so we are always looking for new opportunities that fit our strategic plan, that are out amongst the area. Like right now, there's way more need for people north, near Alliance and all of that, so we're looking for properties there. We look for things that are close to downtown, and all over the city, so that people can get to where they need to go. Not an easy task. But you asked, how did it all get started? Housing for us in the city, I believe, started in 1949. If I don't have those figures right in front of me, but one of the first things that we had and redeveloped was Ripley Arnold. I know, Jim, you'll probably remember that downtown. Well, just to share with you a little bit of the vision of what the Housing Authority was able to do, that was cinder block properties from way before maybe World War I. And so ultimately we were able to transform that by selling that property to Radio Shack at the time, and now where it sits is now TCC as well, right? And we took the money that we made from that, and we, rather than about 300 to 400 people that were there, how about we translated that into 4,000 units across the city? We have the ability, because the bright thinking of our business development director, who has worked with people like Federal Home Loan Bank, Fannie Mae, these things, so that we can. It's important to be able to find the financing to do the things that you need to do, and we do that. So we continue to take the funds that we have and really just increase them tenfold so that we can help more people. And that's kind of how we do it, and as we sell other properties and we move, we sell and we buy, and so that we end up with a better position for our clients where they have better places to live.
I'm glad you explained. I remember Ripley Arnold. I remember growing up and going by there and asking questions and being told this and that. And then I heard when I was living out of state, and what I had heard was they're going to tear it down and people are going to be displaced and they're giving it to Radio Shack. And of course, I thought, oh no, what's going to happen? But I didn't know that that's what y'all did. That you leveraged it to that many. That's
a lot of people don't know that.
Fascinating. Folks, we're talking to Terry Attaway here, the chairman of the Fort Worth Housing Authority, on jimaustinonline.com. If you need help connecting to resources to find out how to get help and to find out your housing options, because Fort Worth isn't the old West anymore. We're not living in a tent in a mining camp. You can't get by that way anymore. You got to live somewhere and take a shower and be able to show up at work. FTWHA.org. FTWAH.org. And now we're going to give it to Mr. Debonair himself, Jim Austin.
Mark, that's why I love you, my brother. And immediately when Mark and I met, we became brothers.
That's
and
true.
then as we talked, and Mark has radio experience and used to be a movie star, so we're bringing all that back, and he's quite a comedian too. So we're going to figure that out, but we're going to be wrapping it up. This Austin Lucas Hour is brought to you by Williams Lucas Funeral Home.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's a new funeral home, well, a new partnership, not new, as tends a long time in the funeral business. So we'll talk about that in our next half an hour show. But Terry, it's been so great to have you on the program, and I learned a lot too. And but in real estate, you're always learning something.
Yes.
When you think you know it all, you're done. But in our business, and I've been doing commercial real estate for 33 years, and consider myself the Fresh Prince of commercial real estate. So it's good to interview you. Tell us about the Realtist and the convention that's coming in. We've got some people coming in town, and we're hanging out at Jim's place also.
There you go. Thank you, Jim. Yes, the Fort Worth Association of Realtors, along with the Texas Association of Real Estate Brokers, that's our Texas arm, we are having all the real estate professionals that are part of our group descend on Fort Worth June 4th through 6th. And specifically on June 5th, we're going to be hanging out with Mr. Austin in the
Zydeco meets country.
Zydeco meets country, that's right. And I think it's boots and something. I forget what they call it. But you're in Fort Worth, so you're very welcome to wear your boots and your hats and everything Western. But we're really looking forward to that. That whole weekend will be filled with information about home ownership for real estate professionals. If you don't know about the Realtors, please get involved. Our website is fwar.org. And you can go in there, find members, learn how to become a member. We will have everything from people speaking on commercial real estate to residential to financing to everything that's important to a real estate practitioner today. So you don't want to miss that. Again, it's June 4th through 6th. Specifically, you want to come hang out and dance on June 5th. Okay?
And Jim Austin Online is a proud media sponsor of this event. And I understand that Wells Fargo has made a commitment to the weekend. So the Realtors, we will be hanging out June 4th, 5th, and 6th. And I believe there's a luncheon and a lot of reception going on. So I'm very excited about you y'all coming out and hanging out with Jim at the Austin Event Center.
I'm
And
sure we'll
it'll-
have this all on Jim Austin online, right?
yes,
Okay.
you can find it all on Jim Austin online. And we'll be launching our new refined website probably next week. You can go on, but we'll have an events calendar. We'll have a schedule of all things that are going on and a directory. So if you want to know what's going on in North Texas, please visit Jim Austin online and hope we can hang out sometime. Mark, it's been another great show.
Shazam!
Shazam! And I'm going to turn it over to Mark to close it out. And thank you so much, Mark.
I think the end of the world is coming. We're hearing, I think that's the timer, but we didn't know that it had an audible signal at the end of it. So we'll just pretend all duck and cover and pray as the Austin Lucas Hour signs out. Remember, JimAustinOnline.com, and for housing resources in Fort Worth, FTWHA.org. Thank you, Terry Attaway.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed being here.
Take care. See y'all later.
Bye. That was good. That was good.
I'm so glad to learn about. I had no idea from 3 to 25.
Hey, Courtney, this
hours.
computer's
People don't really know.
No,
They
they're-
make up in their mind, and it's, the negative connotations. And
I know,
yes,
I
those
know.
are out there. But, even for landlords,
No, you're like, oh, we should have been watching our time.
I don't know what to do.
but, there are a lot of good
Apparently
people
that's its
that
version of the
just don't have the income that everybody else has. And of course,
Oh,
there are some that,
Come on. Are you kidding?
yeah. So, but now, because of how everything is going, there's a lot more people